everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Celeste, popping on today because I finished Rebecca, great novel by Daphne du Maurier. I read it once long ago, just tried it again, and found it suspenseful and gripping from the very first sentence to the very last sentence. I can definitely see why Alfred Hitchcock wanted to dramatize this as a major motion picture. It's suspenseful, the plot is so engaging and rich, and even Manderley, Max de Winter's brooding mansion, is in and of itself a sort of character. So, as is the ghost of Rebecca, the first Mrs. de Winter. So yeah, it was a great book. Definitely can see why it's a film, and I'm really looking forward to going back to the old movie version of Rebecca and also watching the new movie version and comparing the two to see which one I prefer. I think I know the answer to that question, but we'll see. Anyway, reading Rebecca and thinking about rewatching the movie has gotten me interested in creating a little sort of challenge for the month of March, and I'm really hoping you'll join in. It's my very first tag per se. I've done a few tags that others have created, but I've never come up with one of my own. So I'm calling it Cinemarch Movie Madness, and I was going to call it just March Movie Madness, but there's another March Madness tag out there right now, so I'm differentiating it sort of by calling it Cinemarch Movie Madness. And what it is it consists of 7 different prompts. You can do just one of the prompts, but if you want, you can do all 7. That's what the challenge is made up of, and I'm just going to read them to you here. And if you are interested in doing this, consider yourself tagged. Okay, so just by completing number 1, you will have done the challenge. And what it is read one book or story that was made into a film, or watch a movie that's based on a book or a story. That's it. That's enough to meet the challenge. So you could read the book and watch the movie version, and then it would be great if you're a booktuber to pop on and say, which you enjoyed more and compare and contrast them a little bit. And if you are a YouTube viewer, please feel free to comment in the comment section on what you read or what you watched. So really, one book that was made into a film, or one film that came from a book. Very easy, and you will have completed Cinemarch Movie Madness. Now, if you want to go ahead and do some of the other challenges on the list, I'll read them to you. Number 2, read something about the history of the movies, or about an actress, an actor, movie studio, director, movie fashion. It can be a brief article online, so you don't have to go out and buy a huge book on any one of these cinematic subjects. It can really just be a Wikipedia article if you like. And by the way, I'll be posting a bunch of links down below. But in any event, yeah, number 2 is read something about the history of the movies, or an actor, actress, director, what have you. Number 3, watch a silent movie. This would be fun. Share one fact about the silent film star or director. And there are many, many free silent movies right here on YouTube. I'll post some links down in the comment section below. But really, if you just type in silent movie, you're going to get a whole bunch. One of my favorite channels here on YouTube to watch is the Mary Pickford official channel, and there's so many great silent films there. Number 4. Pop some popcorn and watch any movie from the 1930s up to the present. So there is a huge amount of room there to pick and choose from. Number 5, name a favorite musical or children's film or animated film and tell us why you love it. Is there a book version or a novelization? Let us know. Number 6, the best book or story that you think would make a great movie. So in other words, a book that you love, that you think would make a wonderful film that has not been made into a film yet. I hope that's clear. Tell us what genre it is, who would star in it, why should it be a movie, what's cinematic about it. And finally, number 7, and this is bonus points, watch a foreign film and tell us about it. It can be a short or a children's film, such as The Red Balloon, or animated, such as the Disney Pixar shorts, for example, or wordless. Tell us about your experience, and there are many of those on YouTube as well. And if you complete one or more of the Cinemarch Movie Madness challenges, congratulations. If you complete all 7, you will have 1 Cinemarch. So, all that being said, I have so many resources that I can share with you. But you know, there's little videos on YouTube about the history of the movies. There's a movie fashion vlog. In terms of silent movies, I mentioned Mary Pickford, but there's also some great silent film star biographies, mini biographies available. There's this book, which I've had for years, and it's a gorgeous book. It's Silent Magic, Rediscovering the Silent Film Era by Ivan Butler. Isn't that a beautiful cover? I just love the pink and black together, and the sort of Art Deco design. And on the back of this is a movie poster from Douglas Fairbanks, The Thief of Baghdad. And this book basically goes year by year of the silent film era, and has lots of marvelous black and white illustrations and stills from different movies. And, you know, it tells a little bit of the bios of some of the film stars. Here's Charlie Chaplin, for example, you know, Buster Keaton, Myrna Loy, Lillian Gish, again, Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks. There's so many to choose from. And so, yeah, oh, look at this one too. Gorgeous. I think we can really learn a lot from watching the really early days of cinema. And there are a lot of great biographies available out there too. Another great tangent that you could go on is learning about the old silent movie palaces and, you know, the orchestra pits where musicians actually played the scores to go along with the silent films. The gorgeous Art Deco design, all of that. So that's one possibility. Right here on YouTube, and I will provide the link, is The Little Match Seller. It's from 1902, and of course it's based on The Little Match Girl, Hans Christian Andersen. It's only a couple minutes long and it's beautiful, very fairy tale-esque. So that's one idea. And then I'll post some other ones. Of course, there's the greats, Battleship Potemkin, there's The General with Buster Keaton, Metropolis, City Lights, Modern Times. And then in the 1930s, you have The Wizard of Oz, Gone with the Wind, Bringing Up Baby, The 39 Steps, if you're in the mood for a mystery. And then for the 1940s and 1950s, I'll be including a link to another YouTube video which sort of defines what film noir of the 1940s and 50s was. And then, of course, you have Rebecca, The Philadelphia Story, one of my absolute favorites of all time, Alfred Hitchcock's Shadow of a Doubt, and that was starring Joseph Cotten. I could watch that forever. That came out in 1943. If you're looking to do like a book and film combo, you could read Now Voyager by Olive Higgins Prouty. And that came out in the 1940s, and then the movie Now Voyager, starring Bette Davis, is fantastic, and that is also available to watch. There's Gaslight, Arsenic and Old Lace. Mrs. Miniver is another book to movie. That's a possibility. This comes from Virago Modern Classics. I think this is Greer Garson. I want to say Greer Garson. So that would be a possibility for another one to watch. And then another one I was thinking of is Laura by Vera Kaspari. Look at this cover. It's fantastic, just wonderful. This comes from the Feminist Press at the City University of New York. There's a lot of other titles in this series that I'm excited to explore. But this is Laura by Vera Kaspari. I'll read you the back here. Meet Laura Hunt, a modern woman personified, ravishing, elegant, ambitious, and utterly unknowable. No one can resist her charms. Not even cynical NYPD detective Mark McPherson, sent to track down the killer who has turned Laura into a faceless corpse. By day, McPherson interrogates the men who love her. By night, he combs her apartment for clues, gazing at her portrait, smelling her lingering scent. One stormy night, the door opens to an electrifying plot twist. It's a work of riveting psychological suspense, earning Otto Preminger's 1944 film adaptation an Academy Award. So there's a possibility there. I want to say that the film version was with Gene Tierney, but I may be wrong about that. Anyway, that's a possibility. And then, of course, we have James M. Cain's The Postman Always Rings Twice. And this is published by Vintage Crime, and so that's a great one to do as well. You could find an old vintage copy of a book that was made into a movie, such as The Three Faces of Eve. Isn't that marvelous? I picked this up at a used bookstore, or it might have been actually free on a library shelf, I want to say. There's the marvelous title page. I also found this one called Desperate Hours. This is by Joseph Hayes. And here's a headshot of the very suave author, Joseph Hayes, on the back here. I got this at a charity shop for a couple of dollars. And this, I believe, is about a group of criminals who I think escape from prison, and they have to hide out in a suburban family's house, and they sort of hold the family captive while they're using their house. The movie that was made from this starred Humphrey Bogart. I believe there actually is a more up-to-date version of that movie as well, but I would like to see the Humphrey Bogart version. And so that's a possibility. I also recently read The Ghost and Mrs. Muir by R.A. Dick, and this, of course, is the basis for the fantastic movie starring Rex Harrison and Gene Tierney. I think I seem to be on a Gene Tierney kick. So yeah, this was originally published in 1945, and it was made into a movie in 1947. There's a possibility. And in fact, these vintage books, Vintage has a whole selection of book-to-movie titles. So there are many, many, many in the series that you can check out. You may want to go for something a little bit older. Anya Seton's Dragonwyck. I'm a huge Anya Seton fan. I loved Catherine. I loved Dragonwyck. And Dragonwyck was made into a motion picture starring, who was it? Vincent Price. He's very diabolical in this, but it's really, really good. Very young and very handsome, too, surprisingly. You don't often think of Vincent Price that way, but he was. So, yeah, Anya Seton. In the spring of 1844, the Wells family receives a letter from a distant relative, the wealthy landowner, Nicholas Van Ryn. He invites one of their daughters for an extended visit to his Hudson Valley estate, Dragonwyck. 18-year-old Miranda, bored with the local suitors and her commonplace life on the farm, leaps at the chance for escape. She immediately falls under the spell of Nicholas and his mansion, mesmerized by its Gothic towers, flowering gardens, and luxurious lifestyle, unaware of the dark, terrible secrets that await. So that's Dragonwyck. If you're looking for something a little bit lighter, you could always go for Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. And this was just made into a movie starring Leslie Manville. I know there is an older version starring Angela Lansbury as well. And then this is a copy of a book I just picked up, Patricia Highsmith's Strangers on a Train. This is published by Virago. It's a fantastic hardcover edition, and I love this pattern. It's called Pebbles by Jacqueline Grogue. And so this is very suspenseful, and of course was turned into a movie as well. You could try The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie by Muriel Spark, and of course that became a movie with Dame Maggie Smith. Or again, another light one, Bridget Jones's Diary by Helen Fielding, which of course was made into the motion picture and is a lighthearted rom-com. So there's a bunch of possibilities. Or if you're reading about a specific aspect of an actor or actress, for example, I love fashion and movie fashion. So I found this book at a library sale, and this is by Elizabeth Taylor, not the novelist, but the actress, and it's called My Love Affair with Jewelry. This is a behemoth of a book, and it's kind of falling apart here, but it is absolutely jam-packed with all of Elizabeth Taylor's jewelry and the stories behind how she acquired each piece. And of course, she was married to Richard Burton, and she was with Eddie Fisher. She hobnobbed with royalty. Look at just the pendant on the back here, how gorgeous it is. And so this entire book is about her jewelry. So I mean, really, any facet of an actor or actress's life is fair game for this challenge. So I've given you some possible suggestions for Cinemarch Movie Madness in the month of March, and I'm hoping that some of you will join in. I may tag some of you below because I'm really excited to see if anyone will sort of follow along. You have a great day. I'm going to get outside and take a walk with my son. I hope you will get out too at some point and enjoy the day, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.